And we are live.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live session. My name is Carol Himelhoch with Himelhoch's Department Store at himelhoch.com. It is my distinct pleasure and honor to introduce Kaleb Fulk to you. He is with Pingree, Detroit. It is such a cool operation. We are at Pingree's factory, headquarters.
Yeah, we call it our workshop.
Workshop.
Yeah.
Okay. And so we're gonna chat a little bit with Kaleb. And hello, Faith. Nice to see you. I do that a lot during these live sessions. If I see somebody pop up, I try to greet them.
Oh, very
so, but we're gonna learn not only about Pingree, but we're also going to just get a little background about Kaleb here. So I guess I'd like to start with your background. You have, I know, an interesting background that spans marketing, music, serving in the Army. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. So I spent 4 years on active duty in the Army. I entered
Hello, Faith.
as a musician, and then I worked in a public affairs role. And during that time, I was able to travel all around the U.S. I got to meet so many really cool veterans and really get a sense of kind of pride in what I was doing. And I had this really strong want to be able to fulfill that commitment that I felt when I left the Army. So in 2016, when I left, I met with Jarrett, who was running a new company called Pingree Manufacturing, and I have been with Pingree since then.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome. And so Pingree, as a name, has this rich Detroit history. Can you share with us a little bit about how
Sure.
that all, the history and how that morphed into starting this company?
Yeah, Pingree is a name. Hazen Pingree is a name. I hope that some people in a couple of years it'll be kind of like a local Detroit legend name, because there's so much interesting stuff associated with Hazen Pingree. He was the mayor of Detroit. He was a governor. He was a soldier on the Union Army and the war. Just kind of all around an amazing person. And what really inspired us to work kind of in his vein was he was a veteran and a shoemaker, but he also championed really progressive issues in the city. The decentralization of the lighting company to break up a monopoly so people could afford electricity.
Wow.
Dedicating public land to potato patches so that people could grow the food that they needed.
No kidding.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is why he's called Potato Patch Pingree.
Yeah.
But just a really cool guy he cared about his community, and he made some really great stuff. And we want to continue that vein in modern times.
Yeah. So that's really amazing. And there's a lot of really unique and heartwarming positions that the current Pingree stands for, not only in terms of its manufacturing processes, but also the people not only who it employs but bring on as partners, so to speak. So can you explain how that works?
Sure. Pingree Detroit is a worker-owned company. We really think that putting the ownership of the company in the employees' hands allows us to really keep the company honest to exactly what we want to see. And one of the biggest things we're focused on is sustainability in the broadest sense. So not just creating a workplace that is inviting, where people can feel like they're doing honest work and getting a really fair wage, but also that the products that we're making are sustainable, from downstream waste in our supply chain to the way that we make the products to the way that the community is interacted with by the organization. We really want to show that we are committed to being authentic, creating excellent products, and as much as we can, working with people to meet them where they are, and really standing alongside people in the community.
That is such a unique, it's really unique, and to engage employees by sharing ownership with them is huge. You rarely run into that.
Yeah.
And also the way that you use sustainable materials, that's pretty cool, and glues and so forth that are non-toxic. Can you share some of?
Sure.
Yeah.
I think the really interesting part is the leather stores. So it's actually from the Detroit auto industry. So as automakers make their vehicles, there's a certain amount of waste that, say, the leather is just a bit too small and it can't be put into a machine, or the color varies just slightly. this material would be discarded, either thrown away and sent to a landfill or put on a ship and sent to China for a number of uses. We're able to keep it here in the U.S., keep it in Michigan, and we essentially minimize the waste and then minimize any type of carbon issues that would be associated with shipping to China.
You may need to speak up because the fan is
the
heater is getting kind of loud. So,
but essentially we have this amazing brand new material that was going to be thrown out, and we're able to keep it in the U.S. and make really kind of awesome products, like the first sneakers ever made in Detroit, for example.
Now I understand that manufacturing shoes. I mean, I've always been told that shoes are the hardest type of clothing item to manufacture.
Definitely.
Why is that?
There are so many steps in the shoemaking process. It takes us about 2 days to make a single pair. They're all lasted by hand, and lasting is a process where the leather is flat and it's pulled tight to form the shoe. It's a very precise process. It has a lot of room for error. On top of that, there's also just the manufacturing process, putting the shoe together once it's lasted. It's really difficult to do, but the result, when it's done right, is a shoe that fits kind of like no other and will last and can be very easily maintained over years and years of use, a lifetime of the shoe.
That's really amazing. Well, great. So here we are. Can you say something about this building where we're at?
Yeah, this is a 100-year-old Albert Kahn designed bank. Absolutely
so it's a bank
beautiful.
by Albert Kahn.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
And just another part of like the Detroit history that we really want to learn from it.
And we're in Midtown Detroit, for those of you who don't. So,
yeah. It's a cool area.
Yeah. Well, I thought it might be kind of fun to take it, if you could give us a tour, and it'll be interesting, of course. I'm going to be carrying the camera, so I may need a moment to make an adjustment, but perhaps we can tour, you can show us around, and also show us some of your products.
Absolutely.
And I assume that there's maybe some products that you would like to tell us about specifically, and perhaps we could walk over to those and you can show and tell a little bit.
Certainly, I'd love to do that.
All right. So I'm going to grab, and I think I need to turn the turn this around. So now, there we go.
Hey.
All right. So now I get to follow you. I'm tracking you, Kaleb.
Okay. So this is our first floor. So everything upstairs, this is where we do all of our accessory production. And you're looking at it now. This is kind of an exciting update. This is called the Bobian purse, and it's the very first purse we've ever made, and I think one of the perhaps only purses made in Detroit. We'll be coming out with this sometime this year. Entirely handmade right here in Detroit. This is leather from the auto industry, and not only made in the city, but also...
It's really soft, by the way.
Yeah, it's supple.
Yeah,
is the word a lot of people use.
Yeah.
But it's also totally designed here in the U.S. We do everything under one roof, and it really allows us to have a lot of platitude in our designs.
I love that. Okay, so you can, if we try to see in here, the lighting perhaps isn't the greatest, but you can see these. And what is the fabric on the inside? It's like a nylon or something, maybe?
I think so. I'm not
So we have a couple
sure.
pockets, a big main compartment, and then a zipper. Oops.
There we go.
Zipper pouch here. But then all made in Detroit, all locally sourced. Oh, and then outside pouch and a little outside pocket. It's very stylish.
Yeah.
And
it certainly is.
With gorgeous leather. Does it come in different colors?
It does. We're working on figuring that out now, but it looks like black and brown are going to be our two launch colors. And we're really excited to kind of work with other colors that we use a lot.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. All right.
So if we go this way a bit, we have, of course, our totes, which are kind of our best sellers. So these are also entirely made here in the U.S. using the same material. It's very supple and smooth to the touch. And a lot
this,
of
you know, it's funny. From a distance, I might have thought that was... My goodness, that's lovely.
And the storage, too. This is really a bag for the weekend. You know,
oh, gosh, yes.
Or whatever it might be.
I love it.
This is
I love it.
So if we go this way, I'd love to introduce you to some of the makers that we have.
Oh, we would love it. Walk a little slowly so that the camera doesn't get... Okay.
Moving this way, we have Rain, who has been with our team. Rain, how long have you been?
Yeah, and I got to reconnect. Okay. I'm going to try to. All right. Get you on camera. So I'm sorry. Your name again?
Rain Rose.
Rain Rose, and you've been here since January of what year?
29, 2018.
18. All right. And what are you working on? Oh my gosh, look at all that
I'm working
delicate stitching you're doing by hand.
I'm working on a hemp tote.
Wow.
And I'm tying the strings for our box X's.
And that's all done by hand. That's incredible. Oh, look at that. Look at that fine craftsmanship. Wow. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
As we thought about bringing kind of a fashion brand back to Detroit, we realized that there had been decades of the industry kind of leaving the city. So something that was critical to us was creating products that really brought this handcrafted aspect to them. And one of the things we like to do is every product that we sell comes with a card that has a picture and a little story about the person that made them, to really just connect the people with the products that they buy. We don't think about that anymore, and it's excited to kind of show that we can do local manufacturing and connect a community to each other.
I love that.
Yeah,
It really kind of takes us to qualities, if we were to step back in time, that are really missing now, but really are important for feeling part of a community.
Yeah,
Yeah.
generational quality.
Yes, I
Yeah.
love that.
And then I would
love
like
that.
to just really quickly introduce you to Miss Wendy. She is working on some shoes.
Hello,
Hello.
Wendy. The lighting isn't the greatest to. Here, I'm going to come over here if I could. You're
Whatever
making
works.
shoes.
Yeah, right now I'm just sewing the size labels on. Probably the easiest part of the shoemaking.
Okay, well, good. So we're just distracting you, and we've got you at the easiest point. So that's good.
There are much harder parts than making shoes.
I'm sure. We were just talking about how it's probably shoes are probably the most challenging fashion item to make.
I would say so. Yeah.
Yeah. And how long have you been with Pingree?
I've been here for about 6 months.
Great. And where did you come from before joining?
I actually have my own brand that also uses salvaged auto stuff. I go into junkyards and I cut out their seat belts and make them into belts and guitar straps.
Oh, how cool. And
Yeah,
what's
and
your name of your brand?
Artifacts Detroit.
Artifacts?
Artifex.
Oh.
But I took a
Artifacts.
shoemaking class at CCS.
Oh,
And
yeah.
The teacher there also worked at Pingree for a short time. And I made her get me in the door, essentially. I stopped
You
them.
didn't give her a chance to say no. Well, good for you.
Yeah, so now I'm here.
Well, great. We'd love to see some of what you. I should leave you my card, and you can share some of your own
Absolutely.
pieces that you're making too.
Yeah, would love to.
Thank you. Nice to
course.
meet you.
You as well.
Thank you, Wendy.
All right.
I would love to show you where the actual shoes are made. Those
I
are
would too. So what? This is where you just sort of do some cutting and pattern.
This is a cutting table. It's kind of maybe the brain of the area. Everybody tends to work around here. So cutting will happen. This is where we do initial assembly. We'll do gluing at this table. This kind of is the first step in the manufacturing process for a lot of our goods.
All right.
So we're going to head down to the basement now.
Well, okay. So here's a board. What goes on this board?
The board, this is some of the things that we want to be part of our corporate culture and how we communicate with each other.
I love it.
It gives us some type of framework for establishing, what is a quality interaction of the organization.
These are all beautiful goals to set.
Thank you.
Good values. And it's interesting, it's prominently displayed. A lot of times people come up with value statements and mission statements and then tuck them away because they said, okay, I went through that
They get buried
activity.
in the handbook.
But you have it right here in the center of everything. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. It's really important to us, the
Yeah.
kind of worker ownership, equal stake aspect of the company. And we do everything we can to bring that to the front.
All right. And defining what you want as well as what you don't want.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you. So we talked a bit about the leather, and this is kind of what it looks like as it comes to us in these giant metal horses. We
Wow.
don't know exactly what kind of colors we're going to get sometimes, so
Sure.
it gives us a lot of room to mess
Wow,
around
it's
with.
really nice quality.
Yeah, and seasonal colors too. We can do all kinds of really interesting pivots that we're hoping
Yeah,
to do more of
yeah.
in 2019. All right. Anything else up here? Or I think we're
I
good?
don't know. Well, what's in this safe? This was part of a. You don't have to take me in, but I think it's hilarious that this was a bank, and so this is the bank vault.
Yeah.
Yes.
This is primarily leather storage, so it's kind of our own gold, if you will.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? Yeah.
But it's cool. It's a beautiful old, I think a 1940 Die Hard.
Yeah.
You don't see them like that anymore.
You sure don't. I love. It's so neat to have all this history here in this building, this Albert Kahn Bank building. All right, so now we're going to get into a little bit of a dark passage as we go down to the stairs to the basement.
A bit of a field trip.
So, okay, bear with us, folks. I'm a little slower than Kaleb is, and there isn't a lot to see other than the corridor here. So, all right. What's in here before we go into the other?
Yeah, so we share the space with a New Life Prosthetics and New Center.
Oh,
And-
yes. Okay,
and
so
this
this is part of their operation then.
Yeah, it's always
Yeah.
interesting. Sometimes you'll come down here in the morning, you're not expecting to see a hand or a foot on the ground.
Yeah, right.
It's always fun.
Now, and they work with people from the sign I saw in the entrance who are athletes who've had some kind of disability, and
Yeah.
I think that's a cool mission too.
Yeah, that's-
Nice group to share your space with.
It's really cool what they're doing.
Thank you.
And down here, this is our footwear manufacturing facility. So this is where 100% of our footwear is made, all in a basement in Detroit. I'd love to introduce you to Nate real quick. Nate's one of our main
All right.
shoemakers. Hi, Nate.
Hello, Nate.
How you doing?
Great. Here. And Nate, how long have you been here?
I've been here since last year, June.
Last year, June. And you have the skill and craft of knowing how to make shoes.
Yeah. Learned from Cynthia Matthew.
Wow.
Yeah, I call her the shoe goddess.
Shoe guys.
Shoe goddess. Yep, she showed me a lot of the basics in building up the sneakers. We usually take a 36 by 24 inch sheet of leather, black and brown, from upstairs. We bring it downstairs. We get it cut up and we take it over Inside Focus. It's a Fab Lab, not too far from here.
Okay.
Within walking distance. That
A
we have
Fab
access.
Lab.
Yeah. We're a maker space.
Yeah.
We have access to. We get over there. We cut out the individual pieces. It's about 12 pieces per pair. Bring
Wow.
it back and.
And is that some of what comes out of the?
Yep, some of these pieces.
Okay,
here.
some of these pieces.
Yeah,
All
those
right.
pieces. This is the complete upper.
Let me show you this. So this
All
is
right.
this is what Wendy was doing upstairs. She's essentially sewing it when it's flat.
Okay.
This is then assembled into what's called the upper. And you can see everything now has the shape of the shoe. And
Yes.
this is ready for the next process called lasting, which is where the shoe is given its shape.
Lasting.
And
Okay.
essentially what happens is we have these green feet, and the upper is inserted into the foot. And then Nate, through hours and hours of training and an amazing effort, manages to pull all of this leather so that it gives the shoe a perfect kind of
Wow.
silhouette that we're going for.
Wow.
Probably one of the most difficult processes of the entire build.
That beginning process is a beast. It's a doozy. Getting that heel straight and stuff, but it's great. And then that's we finish up with the.
Over
he was
here?
yeah, he was going to show you the cup sole.
Yeah, it's sidewall. So this
Oh.
is the bottom. After
Oh,
the
yeah.
shoe is lasted, then the sidewall is applied through our machine, and you have a finished pair of Pingree Mayors after a quick 16 hours of work.
A quick 16 hours
Yeah.
per pair. That's incredible. Oh, and here we go. Look at
Our
how beautiful
original,
those are. Look at that.
Special edition here.
Oh, if folks, if you could feel how soft this is. I like the red thread against the black leather. And
Yeah,
the
this
red
was,
shoelaces,
This is a pair of our special edition pair that we got shipped up.
So a lot of people ask us why we use red, and
Huh.
He's in Pingree. His workshop kind of famously burned down back in the 1800s. But he was so impressed by the response of the fire department, 0 loss of life, and the building was a loss, but a lot of machinery was salvaged, that he had a number of ad campaigns that pictured the firemen. So
Wow.
he was so impressed with the Detroit Fire Department at the time that he kind of brought them to the front line of his ad campaigns, and we're trying to pay homage to that really interesting background.
I love it. I
Thank
love
you.
it. I love the symbolism.
Piece
The
of red
connection.
eyelet here.
Oh yeah.
Red
And then
tab.
the last thing that we do
Yeah.
that's kind of unique and fun is we give every shoe an individual serial number, which we call the Shoeshel Security Number. We're still working on that.
Okay.
So this is a gold pair. They're typically black and white, but
Yes.
essentially, as soon as the shoes are finished and they go through a very rigorous QC point and are mailed out, they're given their own serial number, and that is the number that follows the shoes for the rest of their life. So as we do maintenance at any point in the future, as we think about treating the shoe as an asset and maintaining it, that allows us to track that down to the customer.
So it isn't like you've sold it to the customer and then it's done. You are accessible to be able to have follow-up and
Yeah, yeah. All
maintenance
kinds of maintenance. Seasonal maintenance down to, we have the ability to resole the shoes.
Wow.
We really think that this should be a generational item, and we've worked to make it as so.
I love it. I love it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So, and what's all over here? Just more.
Well, these are-
See, I'm nosy. I have to know.
Well, we have some customers that are able to come in and try on pair.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for fitting. Yep. We have our fitting pairs. Wait, we have a
Awesome.
few measurements for some customers. Oh, well.
Yeah, we really try to make it kind of an all-inclusive process and an experience. So whatever we can do to make sure that our customers... Oh, the Wi-Fi is
Okay,
a
now
good
I've
spot.
reconnected. Okay, go ahead.
Cool. But yeah, so making the shoes as an experience, tailor-fitting them to the customer, and really trying to produce something that feels great, that looks great, that you can feel great about. That's what we're trying to do.
Well, I think it's really marvelous. And so I've met 3 folks who are owners and part of this process. How many people in total work for Pingree?
I think we're up to 8 currently.
Wow. That's incredible. There's so much that's accomplished by 8 people.
Yeah,
Indeed.
we do quite a bit.
Wow.
That's,
Wow.
that's part of the service that we have, the military service. So
Yeah.
Army veteran.
And are you a vet also?
I'm an Air Force veteran.
Thank
and
you for
we
your
have
service.
A new employee, maybe a Marine veteran as well.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty awesome.
Yes.
Yeah. Very unique.
Thank you.
Unique and I just admirable, everything that you do here.
Thank you.
So before we close, are there any thoughts that you'd like to share that we haven't covered that you'd like to
I think
let us know about?
I usually just say about the company is it's great to be an essential part of something that's bigger than yourself. That's huge.
I love that.
That's
Be part of something that's bigger than yourself. And that's something that is true here, not only in the company, but I think it's true of what's happening in Detroit, and we're all part of this great community. And I know I'm really honored, and those of us at Himelhoch are really honored to be fashion partners with you.
Thank you.
So,
We're excited to be at Himelhoch. Really excited. Pingree's Detroit story is one of finding things that have worked very well in the past and
Yeah.
bringing them into a new light, and we're excited to see Himelhoch do the same thing with the,
Yes.
just the prestige behind the name.
yeah. And it's funny because both of our names have so much history. We came to Detroit in 1907, so that was, it's fun to have that history, and makes our partnership all the more special.
Awesome.
Well, thank you very much. I think we will call our session to a close.
Fantastic.
Okay, thank you very much.